I just saw the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, and right off the bat, when I walked into the theater, my brother and I were the only ones in the entire theater for the entire time. We had the entire theater to ourselves. That's a terrible sign. In this video, we're going to get into my spoiler-free review, my initial thoughts on the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Let's get into it. I'm Brandon, and welcome back to Screen Wars. I literally just got home from seeing the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, and I have a lot of thoughts. I figured I would make a spoiler-free review, and then later just review the entire movie. So, was the Mandalorian and Grogu good? Or was it a pile of hoodoo? My initial thoughts was it was okay. It was honestly better than I expected, but also not a Star Wars movie, in my opinion. It felt like it could have been season 4 of The Mandalorian, which was everybody's fear going into it. And I'm sorry to say, it felt like 2 or 3 episodes with a season finale. The premise of the movie is that Din Djarin is now working for the New Republic. I think most people know that. He's hired by Sigourney Weaver to complete bounties like he was in the original first season of The Mandalorian. Just now he's doing it for the New Republic. Which, like, what can you say? This is exactly what my expectation going into it was. And honestly, some of the scenes in the movie, the CGI was on point with the TV show. It's not really a spoiler at all, but there is a part where the CGI is god-awful. A group of stormtroopers literally take a speeder into the back of the Razor Crest. It looks absolutely ridiculous. It looks worse than a TV show, and I was literally like, what the hell? But on the other hand, some of the parts in the movie, like Zeb, he looked well done, the CGI. So it seems like they allocated most of the time on the characters, because all the characters look good, but some of the backgrounds and some of the action scenes literally looked right out of the TV show. And a lot of the reviews online were saying that the opening of the movie was the best part. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but I did think it had a strong opening. And then they cut to the Mandalorian screen, and they literally do like a TV intro. It was like reminiscent of an old time movie where they had like a 5-minute intro, but they did that in this movie. You could also rest assured that Pedro Pascal keeps his helmet on throughout most of the movie, which I really enjoyed that. I really did not want a whole Pedro Pascal movie, and I'm glad that they made that choice. My major gripe with it so far, because literally I just got home from seeing it, I'm trying to remember everything without giving it away. My major gripe with it, it just felt like the first half of the movie was, if you saw the Clone Wars movie, it felt that Dave Filoni worked on, it felt eerily similar to that. That is all I'll say. It felt, obviously minus the Jedi and stuff, but it felt very similar. And the pacing, the dialogue, it all felt very TV show movie. And 7 years of no theatrical releases, and then they release a TV movie is kind of crazy. One of my other major gripes with the movie, which, I mean, I guess it's all opinion based, Rada the Hutt literally sounded like Hopper from Stranger Things. Like, I don't understand. They gave him like an American normal accent, and it was very off-putting. I want to research who voices him, because I didn't even look it up. Jeremy Allen White, the bear, voices him, and he literally just sounds like a guy from New York talking throughout the movie, and it's very off-putting for a Star Wars movie. And again, with every season of The Mandalorian, you get old X-Wing pilots. Like Sigourney Weaver as an X-Wing pilot looked absolutely insane. And both my brother and I started dying laughing in the theater when she first came on screen. But now I want to touch on some of the positives, because there was some positives. I thought the action in the movie was relatively good. Minus some of the CGI, the Mandalorian felt pretty badass. He felt capable. He felt like he could actually do something. And the sound effects, obviously they nail the sound effects. They nail all of that. Those were great. Like I said before, I love that they kept the Mandalorian in his helmet the majority of the movie. And I actually did like the Babu freaks. I thought they added them in a little bit too much. They were trying to force the cuteness, but I thought they were funny. I thought it was entertaining. Some of the scenes with Grogu himself, I actually liked. Some of the scenes, there was no dialogue for a good 2 to 3 minutes on the screen, and it was actually working for me. And obviously when I make my in-depth breakdown of the entire movie, I'm going to go further in detail of what I do and don't like about this movie. I'm probably going to see it again before I make that video. Now, do I think this movie is going to break any records or do anything? No, absolutely not. Like I said, it felt like a TV show. It really felt like the Mandalorian TV show. After 7 years of no theatrical releases, I had no expectations that it would be good, but you would expect more from Star Wars. And especially with the CGI, it felt like there was so much of it too. Like, felt like they didn't need to have as much CGI as they did. They were like full CGI characters everywhere, full CGI replacements, everything at not the highest level. It just frustrates you for a multi-billion-dollar company. Now, do I think that everybody should go see this movie? If you're a Star Wars fan, you're going to see the movie anyway. Just the fact that even for a Thursday night, I know it's not going to be packed, but there was nobody in the theater whatsoever. Completely empty. So that's a terrible sign. But obviously people could catch on to what this movie was going to be. Now, is this movie worse than some of the sequels? No. I actually enjoyed myself through the majority of the movie. I wasn't hating it. I like some of the action beats. I laughed a little bit. It is what it is. It also didn't conflict with any of the main storyline, which was also refreshing. It was completely separate on its own. They shouldn't have made season 3 and then made this season 3. This should have been season 3 of The Mandalorian, because it was actually focused on the characters as opposed to Bo-Katan and the rest of them. That's kind of my final verdict of this video. Not going into detail of what actually happened. There were some pretty good action scenes throughout the movie. Some funny moments, some cool visuals. But at the end of the day, it felt small. It felt like nothing really happened to warrant a theatrical release, if I'm going to be honest. I get why the reviews were mixed, and a lot of them were negative. You should go see it for yourself and figure out if you like it. I will be doing a full review on the movie in the next coming days. But until then, thank you so much for listening this far into the video. If you did, subscribe to the channel. If you did, drop a like, subscribe to the channel. We have a lot more videos coming your way. But until then, I'm Brandon, this is Screen Wars, and may the Force be with you.